All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of Elevating. I'm your host, Marsha Hawkins. Today, we're going to be talking with, I don't even know how to say your last name, Yoni. There you go. And we're going to be talking about Cryoskin. I've been doing Cryoskin with my clients for about 3 years now, and we've been trying to get Yoni on a podcast so we can talk a little bit about Cryoskin and the benefits of it and just how fantastic it is. I love it. 15 minutes of a facial, and it rolls back the odometer for me, so I absolutely love it. So, Yoni, welcome aboard, and I want to, first of all, get your background, and then let's dive right into Cryoskin.
Okay, Marcia. So thank you for having me. So my background, initially my education, I did a business school in France, but I also studied in South Korea and China, business and also languages. Then I actually worked in the US in the luxury furniture industry. Then the distribution of Cryoski devices, not just Cryoski, but Cryoski mostly and other devices. And now I'm actually doing digital marketing for beauty salons, head spas, more specifically for Cryoski related products, but it could also be facial type of treatments like microneedling, organic facials, Botox, fillers, facial muscle stimulation, all these kind of services, but still related to like the med spa world in the US specifically.
Anything that will roll back the odometer, so to speak, for men and women. We're always looking to grab that fountain of youth, so totally get that. So I met you 3 years ago when I decided to get into Cryoskin, and it started sweeping across the country and still is. So I want to talk a little bit about what Cryoskin is and what the benefits are and why it is so beneficial to men and women.
So definitely Cryoski is the game changer for a lot of businesses, especially in America, even though it's available worldwide. In terms of treatment itself, everybody wants to go towards non-invasive type of treatments, no downtime, and this is the perfect kind of treatments for people who are looking for like youthful rejuvenation, if they are looking for like a facelift, but no, going away from Botox, fillers, or any kind of surgical treatments. And for those who are looking for more holistic kind of treatments for fat removal and skin tightening, this is the perfect treatment in order to get long-lasting results. Because not only with Cryoski, we can achieve great results for clients looking for like a more body contouring kind of treatments, but we also educate them throughout the package program that they are purchasing, how to properly diet, how to live a healthy lifestyle, to maintain those results, which is something that you don't get, for example, if you are getting liposuction. Liposuction, you go to the plastic surgeon, they do the treatment on you, they remove the bunch of fat cells. They didn't teach you anything, so a lot of time people gain those fat back. Actually, they do not gain the fat back, because the fat, once it's gone, whether it's liposuction or Cryoski, it's permanently gone. It goes through your lymphatic system, bye-bye. But if you don't have a proper healthy diet, you can expand the current fat cell that remains. So it's very important to understand what are the benefits, the pros and cons. With Cryoski, you have to follow a journey. I want to say a weight loss or healthy journey to achieve your goals. And once you get there, it's very important to maintain those results. But usually, since you learn how to diet and you got in a more healthier lifestyle, you exercise eventually, then you keep those results more long lasting.
Yeah, that's important, and I'm glad you brought that up, because while we can work our magic with the Cryoskin, it's not magic, if you will. There is another component to that, and that really is the client who's receiving the treatment. You know, we try to emphasize that diet and exercise and a healthy lifestyle dovetails with the Cryoskin, but it certainly cannot replace it, correct?
Absolutely. So I think what is very important when you are seeing a client for the first time, they've never done this kind of treatment before, is to be able to manage the expectation and to explain the before and after care protocol. What you need to do, for example, something as simple as drinking a good amount of water on a daily basis to stimulate your lymphatic system. So once you are freezing the fat cells, you can naturally evacuate those excess of waste naturally, and also manage your expectation through your diet. So we suggest, in the best of worlds, do not eat any sugar. So no carbs, no sugar is what we request, but in reality, it's avoid as much as possible sugar and be reasonable with your carbs intake. eat the right amount on a daily basis, enough to fuel your body through the day, depending on how athletic you are. Let's say if you are working behind a computer all day long, or if you are doing heavy lifting, your body is not going to require the same amount of nutrients. So it's about managing what you're eating. And sometimes, I'm not sure for everybody, but it seems like eating healthy and enjoying what you eat is a struggle. Mm-hmm. But if you have like basic cooking skills, you can have really nice meals, homemade, without breaking a leg, and enjoy it.
And still stay on track. Exactly. There is a way to do it for sure.
Exactly.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm going to be honest. I've been a trainer for quite a while now. I think I started training since 2020. And I usually tell the clients that I train what I personally do. I would feel uncomfortable to tell them what to tell their clients if I was not doing it myself.
Right.
Like eating healthy, exercising. And I actually do enjoy doing all these things.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So now we know what you need to do to make cryo work. Let's talk about how cryo works. So if you could explain the process specifically, what exactly the Cryoskin does and why it works.
So basically, like in simple words, what we are doing is at the beginning of the treatment, we are doing a combination of heat to dilate the fat cells, and then we are targeting them with the cold. So this is called a thermal shock, which I want to explain as a violent exchange of temperature. And what we want to do is dilate the fat cell, make them come closer to the surface of the skin, and then heat them with the cold. So the cold that we are using is, we go up to as low as minus 8 degrees Celsius or 16 degrees Fahrenheit, which is sub-zero temperatures, in order to reduce the size of the adipocytes, so the fat cells, so they can shrink in size, become small enough to destroy themselves. So that's how we are kind of like breaking down the fat cells. And the fat cells naturally die at plus 6 degrees Celsius, which is about 45 Fahrenheit. So by doing a treatment at a colder temperature and canvassing a specific area, we are able to achieve great results. But in order to maximize your results, obviously, you need to do a package. The number of sessions depends on how much fat you're looking to remove, what are your goals. So it's very important to do the assessment. And you can expect to lose, let's say, up to 2-3 inches in average per session. But the results also depends on your protocol, what I like to call homework. If you're following the guidance from the provider or the esthetician, then you should be able to achieve those results.
Absolutely. Yeah, it really comes down to what we do, but what they do after they leave with the treatment. We go into that quite extensively, but unfortunately we can't control what people do once they leave our treatment session, and it's that can be a little bit difficult, because I do think people love that instant gratification, and they love it even more when there's no work on their part. But it really depends on what people actually do. But even before they come in for the treatment, and likewise what they do after. So basically what you're saying, we heat the fat cells up, we dilate them, we fracture them with the cold, and then we disperse it through our lymphatic system, which is why I encourage people to be very active after their treatment and drink lots of water, just so that they can dispel those fat cells in a much easy fashion, if you will.
Exactly. And what I would recommend, for example, let's say after your treatment, is to either do some kind of lymphatic drainage treatment, vibration plates, compression therapy, or even just walking to stimulate your lower limbs in order to stimulate the lymphatic system. This is going to be helpful. And for example, when I say exercising, it's not mandatory. It's more like a recommendation. It's for those who want to go further and maximize their results. I highly suggest it, and it's not something that is impossible for everybody. You don't need to dedicate specific time at the gym. You can walk around your house. What I usually say, get a dog. This is going to be a good reason to walk. So get a dog or two, walk around the house. But this is like the bare minimum that you should be doing, even if you're not looking to lose weight. This is something that you should be doing in average 30 minutes a day for your health.
Exactly.
You know what? I am not in the US. I'm in France, so we have different norms in terms of health. And for example, on TV here, when we see advertisement for anything related to food, it's mandatory by law to mention that you should exercise or walk 30 minutes a day. and eat 5 fruits and vegetables. All advertisements need to do this in France because we want to promote a healthy lifestyle for everybody.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm sure you know back in the US, I'm sure you've heard that we're really trying to kind of look at our food sources and the way we do things. I mean, it's no secret that, Americans, we love our not me, but we love our fast food and we like that quick fix. And I think that's one of the reasons why Cryoskin has been so successful in the US is because we are looking, and I say we, I mean the US, not so much myself, but we're really looking for like that quick fix, and there is no quick fix. It really comes down to your lifestyle choices and what you do on a daily basis, not what you do for a 45-minute treatment and then leave and then just don't do anything to help augment the results, if you will. So it's very, very important. It's interesting that you say that, it matters what you do after. And I have been known to actually take the client for a walk, a 20-minute walk, and get them going and hand them a bottled water and say, let's go. Because it is important. I never want to take money from people that are not going to stick to the protocol and then not get the results that they want. So it's very, very important that you do your homework and you do your due diligence on the intake and really explain to the client, this is what I can do for you, but this is what you need to do for you to make sure that it works.
I 100% agree. I think the first step is understanding what the protocol is. You are financially committing yourself to do this treatment, this package. You have to also think, if you're doing this kind of treatment, it's still a lot of money, but it's not as expensive as doing plastic surgery, liposuction, or just the fact of getting healthier. At the end of the day, on the long run, it's going to cost you much less to get a Cryoski package, to be healthy, rather than having to go to any kind of medical treatment because you developed any kind of disease linked to being overweight or linked to obesity or even diabetes.
Yes.
So it's very important. And it's also, I think for a lot of people, it's also an emotional commitment. Because we all have our struggle in life. We all want to feel good. It's not about just looking good. I think it's feeling good, looking good, and what you're providing to your clients is this confidence. What I personally believe in is if you feel good in your skin, in your body, you are able to achieve much more than if you have zero confidence. It could be professionally, your love life, your friendships, or any kind of opportunities that are available out there. For example, something that I hear, I live in Paris, so people are pretty superficial. They like to look nice and everything. And I hear from my own friends things about beauty privilege. Beauty, I don't think is something that you necessarily are born with, even though for some people, yes.
Genes help, absolutely.
But this is something you can achieve as well with different programs. And it does open a lot of doors.
It does.
But you need to,
I'm not to interrupt you, but I do want to stay on that for a minute because I do think that's important. I think, leaving the house in your pajamas and not doing anything with your hair and not really, I feel, at least back in the US, I feel like to a certain degree, we've kind of given up. We don't present ourselves. We've gone very casual in the workforce, which is fine because you can do business casual and still look professional. I'm all about that. But I feel to a certain degree, we've kind of given up. I think it's just easier just to, roll out of bed. And I mean, I was in the store the other day and someone was walking through with a bathrobe on and I'm thinking to myself, I would never do that. But, I just think it's about, I think you are so right. Cryoskin or no Cryoskin, it really starts with that first and wanting to present yourself in a certain way, but feeling a certain way because those work in tandem. Agreed?
I 100% agree. And you know what? I work remotely. I work from home. It doesn't mean that I have to dress up for somebody else. Nobody's going to see me, except right now. But I like to dress nice, even if I'm in my house, or even if I'm just walking my dog, just because it makes me feel good about myself. I don't need to show up to anybody. And that people need to understand as well. There's so many components about feeling good, looking good, but you need to do it for you. And Cryoski is one thing that you can do, but also properly taking care of yourself at home, what you eat, what you wear. Do you apply, do you take care of your skin? those are all the different kind of components that you should be doing in order to feel better.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And it really does. I think if you're going to invest the money into Cryoskin, you really need to look inward and really think about what you're willing to commit for yourself in order to make that program successful.
Exactly. And I would say it's an emotional commitment.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, everybody, you've been listening to, and remind me how to say your last name again. Yoni.
So,
There we go.
Well, I say it's the French way. I don't know how you would say it in America, but that's how I would say it. For example, for my friends in the US who are actually Spanish speakers, they don't call me Yoni. They call me Johnny.
Oh, okay. Oh, there you go.
That's my name.
I know you as Johnny, and I've known you for 3 years now, and I truly appreciate you coming on to kind of educate not only my clients, but other people that are going to hear the podcast about the benefits of Cryoskin, but in addition, kind of taking charge of your life, mentally, physically, emotionally, and feeling really good about yourself and putting your best version of yourself forward. So thank you so much for coming on. I hope we can do another podcast in the future, and maybe we can do it on another topic. But that's all for today. Thank you for joining in. I'm your host, Marsha Hawkins of the Elevate podcast. Thanks for tuning in.